Okay. Oh, all right. So we were talking before the class, and someone said, I'm just waiting till the end. And that word like threw me off a little because I know we're always waiting for like the next thing, and we're waiting for the end of the pandemic, and then we're waiting for, the inauguration, and we're waiting for, and I find it so hard sometimes to keep waiting for the next thing, because then I feel like we're, I don't know, ruminating in that wait, and then maybe missing the work that we could be doing now. So I don't know, someone posted something on Facebook yesterday that said something like, instead of waiting for the light at the end of the tunnel, I'm gonna light this bitch up, or something like that. So we're gonna have to just light it up ourselves and not wait to the end, because who knows when that will be, and we need to be a little bit more in control, I think. So we're gonna spend the next hour or so just creating a lot of positive energy, some strength, some balance, and just give your mind some time to quiet down and let go of all of that chaos, and let go of the waiting, the waiting until the end, because we're at the beginning, right here, right now, with so many opportunities to do amazing things. So we're gonna start laying down on our backs. Have your strap handy, and if you have a yoga strap, just put it together so that you have a big loop, and then you can just put it to the side. We don't need it yet. So let's start here just on our backs. Eyes are closed. It's really funny that now that I start talking about that, I think about my 20s and how I was always waiting and wanting the next thing. Like, as soon as I had a boyfriend, all I wanted to do was get engaged. And then as soon as I got engaged, all I wanted to do was get married. The second you get married, everyone starts to ask when you're going to have kids. And it just kind of rushed through all those little phases, waiting for the next thing. And then once you have babies, it's when are they going to sleep through the night? And when are they going to walk on their own? And when are they going to stop crying? And it was just, this pandemic has really given me some time here, 20 years later, almost 30 years later, to slow down. And I was in such a panic about a year ago, thinking about my son going off to college soon. And now I've had this precious gift of a year, almost a year, with him home and spending time with his brother and me. We've had so much time to get really close and do all the things we wanted to do. So I just invite you to think about, in this practice, what it feels like to be totally present. So we're going to hold some poses a little bit longer than we normally do, just so you can take that extra time to feel what you're feeling in that moment. And then remembering, instead of always trying to get there, realize that you might already be there. And then what are you going to do? What can we do with our time and energy once we're already there? So let's start to breathe a little bit deeper here. Letting the body relax. Checking in with our feelings, noticing how you're feeling and what you're feeling. Relaxing any areas in the body where you typically carry tension. And then from here, let's hug the knees into the chest. So just draw the knees in, rock a little bit left to right. Stretch out your low back. We'll make some circles with the knees in one direction and then the other. We're going to lift the feet up towards the ceiling, soft knees, arms reach behind you, soft elbows, relaxed shoulders. Just take a few really nice deep breaths here to open up the lungs and rib cage. You can point and flex your feet. You can make some circles with the ankles. Feel the power of your breath as it moves in and out of the body. And then we're going to move with breath. So take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, let's hug the knees into the chest. Have the option you want to lift your forehead to your knees, only if you want to. Inhale, arms reach, feet lift. And then exhale, hug the knees in, lifting the forehead if you want to. One more time, just like that. Inhale, arms reach, feet lift. Really just open up here. And exhale, hug the knees in. We're going to let the feet come down to the floor. You're going to take your strap. You want the buckle part of your strap away from you and then off to one side as you place your right foot in the strap. Then you're going to take the loop, bring it overhead and under your arms. So if you have a hoodie, you might want to take your hood out so you don't feel all stuck in the neck. So making sure your strap is smooth in the back. And then you want to be able to pull the tail of your strap to tighten or loosen so that your foot is completely supported. Left leg is going to go straight. Unless you need more support, then you can have your left foot on the floor. Arms out to the sides, palms up. Eyes are closed, and then just pause here. So just take a few moments here in this pose, letting any thoughts that are chattering around in your mind, let them quiet down. Any feelings that you're having, you can just process those feelings by breathing deeply and with awareness. And then just find a physical softening and a letting go in the back of the right leg, heavy in the hips, supported in the low back. After a few breaths, maybe you'll notice the back of the leg is a little softer, so maybe you tighten the strap a little bit, go a little deeper. You don't have to. Your right leg does not need to be straight. It's really good for circulation, any varicose veins, this is helpful. Also, people who carry tension in their low backs often have tight hamstrings, so just allowing your hamstring to release and soften. Take one more full breath in here. And then as you exhale, we're going to soften the right knee. We're going to reach the right foot over to the left, but take your right hand on your right hip crease and keep your right hip down. So your right leg might not go very far. This is your IT band you're feeling, the outside of the leg. You can start to press your leg a little straighter. Your right hand can guide your right thigh away from you so you can open up your chest and side ribs and low back. Chest stays open. So we're not rolling over to the left here. Not yet. We're going to in a moment. But just pausing here with the right side of your back on the floor. And you're just lengthening the outside of the right leg. Feel free to tilt your your right toes to the left. Nice flexed foot. Heel reaching up towards the ceiling. Pause here and breathe. And then from here, your right arm is going to go out to the side. You're going to keep your right shoulder down, and then you're going to roll to the left as you reach your right foot further over to the left. It can touch the floor if you want. It doesn't have to. We're just getting a little bit of a twist here. If this feels too deep, soften your knee. You can always bend the knee. Using the strap for support. You're just getting a little bit of a stretch and release in your low back, opening up through the chest. Right shoulder stays down. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, bend the knee. Bring it back to center. You can let your foot come out of the strap. Left knee comes bent, left foot on the floor, figure 4. So now just let your right ankle cross over your left leg. Left foot stays down on the floor and gently shift the shape of your legs left to right. So just starting to get some movement into the hips and low back. You don't have to make this movement big. It can be small. And then we're going to come back to center. So modified is just taking your right hand on your right knee and just drawing it away. If you can reach for the back of your left thigh, you're going to draw your left knee in towards your left shoulder. So the shape of your legs tilts over to the left a little bit. Let the eyes be closed. Relax your shoulders and breathe with ease. Women carry a lot of tension and stress in the hips. So take a little bit of extra time here to notice what you're thinking, notice what you're feeling, and just try to soften and let go. Maybe after a few breaths, you bring your left knee a little bit more in towards your left shoulder. Nothing straining, nothing hurting. You want to find softness where there's tightness. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, just let your right foot come down to the floor with a bent knee, and we're going to place the left foot in the strap. So the left foot comes into your loop. You can tighten or loosen accordingly. Right leg is going to go straight along the floor if that's comfortable. Arms out to the sides. So feeling the weight of your body against the strap in your back. And then feel your foot pressing into the strap. So maybe you get a little bit more length in the back of the left thigh. Relaxing the jaw. And when the body is still in a pose, that's sometimes when the mind starts to wander. If it does, just bring it back. You can focus on the physical, what you're feeling. So you can just check in with the body. The backs of my hands are on the hardwood floor, which feels a little cold. Back of my head is on a blanket, which feels soft. Just taking in your physical feelings. Any emotional feelings you have, just breathe through. We'll take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, left hand comes onto your left hip crease. Soften your left knee as you reach your left foot over to the right. Try to keep your left hip down so the left leg is not going very far. If any part of your right hip is tightening, try to soften. You want to let go here. Use your strap. If you need a lot extra support, just tighten it a bit. You can use your left hand to create space between your hip and the bottom of your rib cage. Flexing through the foot, maybe you turn your toes down and your heel up. Relaxing through the neck and shoulders. And then from here, left hand is going to go along the floor, shoulder height, and then just let your left foot reach even further. Your left hip comes off the floor, reaching over, coming into more of a twist. If you need to bend the knee, you can. I'm bending as I have a wall next to me, so I can't get that deep in the twist. You just want to open up your mid-back, space between your shoulder blades, and lengthening through your spine. Breathe deeply here, conditioning the lungs as you open on your inhale, and then empty on the exhale. With a bent knee, you're going to bring the left leg back to center. You can let your foot come out of the strap. Bend your right knee. Left ankle crosses over the right leg, right above the knee. Gently sway the legs left to right. You can make this very little, or you can take it bigger. And then coming back to center, if this feels tight enough, then you can let your left hand rest on your left knee. If you'd like to go a little deeper into the tightness, draw your right knee in towards your right shoulder. So tilt the legs over to the right and draw in. Your left elbow can remind your left knee and thigh to reach out. Soft muscles in the face, eyes are closed. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. Bring the shape of your legs back to center. Let the left foot come off. Hug both knees into the chest. We'll take 3 breaths here. Inhale, arms reach, feet lift. And then exhale, hug the knees in. 2 more, just like that. Inhale, arms reach, feet lift. Exhale, hug the knees in. 1 more time, just like that. Inhale and exhale. We're slowly going to transition by either rolling to one side or rocking yourself up to sit. And we're going to come right into a child's pose. So if you happen to have a folded blanket and you need a little extra support in any part of the body, I'll give you some suggestions. You could put a folded blanket under your knees if you need extra padding. You can put a folded blanket on your lap if that feels good. Or you could put a folded blanket under your ankles. Or you don't even have to use a blanket. I'm going to try under my ankles today. So the knees are on the floor. We're going to have them parallel, so not spreading too wide yet. The big toes are going to touch, and we're going to let the forehead come down, but you're going to stack your hands to start. So just let your forehead rest on top of your hands. Pausing here for a moment. Feel the space in your back between the shoulder blades. Feel your breath filling up the lungs, maybe in the front of the body, maybe in the back. I love child's pose. Child's pose is a great time to really feel grounded and connected to right here and right now. So So we're going to change it up just a little bit. Reach your hands way out in front. Forehead down if you can. Palms down. Maybe you lift the elbows. If you want to go a little deeper in the shoulder, lift your palms so your hands are tented. Shoulders pull back. Let that forehead ground down. If it doesn't comfortably reach the floor, you can put a block under your forehead. Releasing tension in the back of the neck. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Let's come up onto hands and knees. We're going to bring the knees parallel. You can move your blanket out of the way or keep it under your knees. Wrists are coming underneath your shoulders. I like mine a little bit in front. Takes the pressure off the wrists. And we're just going to move the spine with your breath. As you inhale, drop the belly. Soften your elbows so that you can drop the chest slightly and then lift the chin. Exhale, tuck the chin. Push the floor away from you as you round the back. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin. Exhale, tuck and round. Feel every tiny movement here. Notice what you feel. Nice and slow, inhale. And exhale. We're going to come back to neutral. You're going to take your right hand, reach it out to the side, and then you're going to thread your right hand under your left arm. You can put your blanket under your right shoulder and the right side of your head. You can put a block under your shoulder and your head. If this is uncomfortable on your knees, you can sink back into a child's pose, which will make this twist much easier. If you're okay here, left fingertips are tented and you're just pushing your left shoulder blade back. Try to open up your chest. This twist is getting into your upper back and the mid back. Relax your shoulders and breathe. So it's not as easy to breathe in a twist, so just give yourself the time here. Letting your breath nourish your cells, nourish the body, process your feelings, and keep you present. We'll take one more breath in here. And then as you exhale, left hand comes flat. Make your way back up to center. You can reach your right hand to the side and then bring it back down. You can move your blanket if you want the support. Left hand reaches out to the side. Thread your left hand through. Come down onto the left shoulder and the left side of your head. We're going to tent the right fingertips. Let your right shoulder blade reach back. And then just breathe deeply here. As we put our body into a shape, we notice what we're feeling and how we're feeling. And then you breathe. You just focus on your breathing. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, right palm comes down, push yourself up, let your left hand reach up, and then we're going to bring the left hand down. I'm going to move my blanket out of the way. Okay, so the next pose we're going to come into is your right foot forward. I don't usually teach downward dog in a gentle class, but I've been practicing downward dog lately, and it just feels really good. So if you would like to come up into downward dog, I'm going to have you take a few breaths here. You can place a blanket under your heels if you want to. If you hate downward dog, you have any wrist and shoulder issues, try a puppy pose where your knees are down, your hips stay where they are, and you just walk your hands a little bit more forward and drop your chest down so that your ears are in between your upper arms. So we're just going to take about 3 breaths there. So whichever pose feels good. I like my knees bent in a downward dog. I usually like to have my heels supported by a blanket. And we're just lengthening through the shoulders and spine here. We're going to take a deep breath in. From whatever pose you're in and however you want it to get there, the right foot's going to step forward. So I'm going to lift my right foot up towards the ceiling, and then I'm going to step it forward. It often gets stuck about halfway. That's okay. You can take your ankle and bring it up. Drop your left knee. So we're checking in here. Feel free to use blocks under your hands if you'd like. Make sure there's hip width between your right knee and right ankle and your left knee. And make sure your right knee is not passing your right ankle. Okay, we're going to come into a twist, and I'm going to give you different options here. You can take your left hand and reach your right hand up towards the ceiling. That's a perfect place to be. Or you can place both hands on your thigh, come up a little bit so that your chest is upright. Hands will be at your heart center, and we're going to turn to the right with your left elbow on the outside of your right knee, and you're turned. So this is one of those poses that I was talking about that we're going to hold a little bit longer than maybe you'd enjoy. So I was practicing yesterday with myself, and I was right here in this pose. And I wanted to see what it would feel like to just stay a little bit longer. So I really started to feel. I could feel my right foot pressing down into the mat. I could feel my hips and thighs. I felt myself get a little hotter. And I started to get a little irritated because I wanted to come out. And then I stayed in a little bit longer, just so I could practice that feeling of being uncomfortable on purpose. So you're breathing deeply here. Feel what you feel. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, let's bring both hands down. You're going to send that right knee back. Okay, options. We're going to take a few breaths before we transition to the other side. You can cat-cow. You can child's pose. You can puppy, or you can downward dog. Pick your pose. Take a few breaths. Relax the neck, lengthen your spine, relax your shoulders in any pose that you're in. And then get ready to step your left foot forward. So if you're in a downward dog, maybe you lift it up and then you try to step it forward. Don't worry if it doesn't make it. You can help it get there. And then we're going to drop the right knee, relax the right foot. So let's establish your base here. Left foot grounded down. Left knee is over the left ankle. Right knee down, hips are heavy. Your right hand can stay down on the floor or the mat or a block. Left hand reaches up, or come up, hands at the heart, twist to the left as your right elbow comes outside of your left knee. And then we're pausing here and breathing. So there are many times throughout our days that we might feel uncomfortable. Maybe in a social situation or something with work where you get an email and then you have to respond because the email doesn't make you feel good. So I like to put myself into situations where I feel uncomfortable on purpose. So that we can practice breathing through and just feeling. Nice. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, hands come down, left foot goes back. We're all going to take a child's pose here. We're going to take wide knees this time. Big toes touch. Let your hips sink down to your heels. Forehead is down. You can do whatever you'd like with your arms. What I've been practicing lately that feels really good, because I get headaches often, tension headaches, is I like to interlace my hands, place them at the back of my head, elbows out to the sides. It adds a little extra weight to the back of my head, reminding me to release tension, to relax my neck, to ground down through the forehead. Eyes are closed. Just breathe and be right here, right now. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. Here we're going to come up onto hands and knees. Your knees are going to go parallel. We're going to lower the forearms down to the floor. Palms are down or up, but hands are relaxed. Forearms are parallel. We're going to step the right foot back and the left foot back, working on some core strength here. If this hurts your back, lift your hips a little higher. If this is not available to you, let your knees come down and the tops of your feet come down, and then push the tops of your feet down. If you're able to be in this pose, pause, feel, and breathe. Lift your chest. Open the space between your shoulder blades. Shoulders are away from the ears. Belly is drawing in and up. Muscles around your spine and your low back are engaged. The muscles in your face are relaxed. You can drop your knees anytime. Just pause. Breathe, dig deep. You are stronger than you think. Relax your neck. Maybe this is another one of those moments to feel uncomfortable on purpose. Or maybe this is feeling really good and you're like, wow, I'm stronger than I thought I was. Or maybe it's opening up your eyes and you're like, man, I need to work on this. I'm a lot weaker than I thought I was. That's okay too. This is a super hard pose. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, knees down, bring them together. Big toes touch. Backs of the hands rest by your feet. Forehead down. You're in a little ball. You can rock left to right. Relax your shoulders, your neck. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. And then let's slowly come up onto hands and knees. Lift your hips, curl your toes under, lift your knees, and walk your hands back to your feet, but your knees are bent and your belly is resting on your thighs. Hold on to opposite elbows and just hang. Let the oxygenated blood from the heart be pumped right to the brain. You can sway left to right. Relax the head and neck. Relax the shoulders. And then when you're ready, you can walk your hands slowly up the legs. Take your time. You don't want to get lightheaded. And make your way up to stand. I'm going to adjust my camera. My space is a little bit small, so when I come into standing poses, it's a little bit harder to see my whole self, but hopefully that's pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna come into some standing poses here. Some will be more challenging than others, but that's okay. We're working on weight bearing on the legs to work on some muscle strength as well as bone strength, bone density. So we're gonna start in a warrior two pose. So your right foot is gonna come forward, your left foot is gonna come back, and you can be on the edge of your mat if you'd like so that you can line up your heels. So I'm at the very edge of my mat with my right foot, my right pinky, and then my left heel is at my mat, reaching outward. The right knee is gonna bend, and it's not gonna pass my right ankle. Arms are gonna reach away from each other. We're gonna just pause here. So you're just pausing here, feeling what you feel right here in this moment. Strong legs, relaxed shoulders, inner thighs drawing towards each other, looking forward. And then let's straighten your right leg, hands come onto the hips. We're gonna hinge to the right. I'm sorry, yes, hinge to the right. So it looks opposite from what I'm doing, but you're hinging to the right without collapsing your left shoulder. So you just wanna lean back as if your back is against the wall, and then just let your right arm hang down wherever it is. And then touch your leg with the back of the hand. So this is triangle pose, and I stopped teaching triangle for a while because I had some back problems. Left hand reaches up. And I always felt that I had to have my right hand down on the floor. That is impossible for me. I can't seem to get my hand down on the floor, but I don't care. I'm in the pose. I'm lengthening my spine. I'm stretching my legs and firming down my base and grounding down. If your right hand touches the floor, then it does. We're gonna breathe deeply here. One more deep breath in, and then we're gonna transition right back into warrior two. Right knee is over your right ankle. Belly is drawn in, nice and strong. Strong hips, strong thighs. And then we're gonna bring the hands to the hips, straighten your right leg, turn your right toes so that just your heel is against the mat. And then you're gonna turn your left toes to the left, bend your left knee, arms reach away from each other. So notice your torso. See if you can keep your shoulders over your hips. You don't want to be leaning forward or back. Left knee is tracking right over your left ankle. Arms are strong at your shoulder height. Belly is drawn in. Just breathe here. Feel grounded from the waist down and light from the waist up. Let's bring the hands to the hips, straighten your left leg. You're just gonna hinge to the left. If this hurts you at all in your back, then don't hinge. You could open, but just start to feel the hinge. If you feel anything pulling in your low back, that's where you should back up and then stop. Left hand, let it hang, and then the back of the hand just goes against the leg wherever it is. Right hand reaches up. Maybe you feel that you can start lowering down, but if you start to lower and your right shoulder comes forward, then come back up. And just feel what you feel here. Strong, we're balanced, we're lengthened, we're open. Beautiful. On your next inhale, come on up. Bend your left knee, warrior two. Look over your left fingertips. Strong shoulders. If your arms are tired, you can bring them down, but see if you can keep them up. Let your left knee open. One more time, breathe in. And then as you breathe out, hands on your hips, straighten your left leg. Turn your left toes forward. So now both feet are facing forward. Take a full breath in with the arms. And then as you exhale, just hinge forward and reach for the floor. If your knees need to be bent, they can be bent. If you want to put a block under your hands, you can. We're going to pigeon toe the toes in just a tiny bit. Lengthen your back. And then adding a little twist here. Your right hand is going to stay down. Inhale, left hand reaches up towards the ceiling as you turn your torso and face to the left. And then exhale, left hand comes down. Relax. Inhale, open to the right. Exhale, come down. So keep this going, this windmill going with your breath. You can go to the deepest expression of your pose, like really open, feel, or you can back off a little bit and make it softer. You don't have to go too far. You don't have to reach all the way to the top. Just keep it fluid and moving with your breath. One more time, both sides. Inhale, lengthen as you open. And then let's come back to the center. Bend your knees, hands on your thighs, and then roll up. Nice round back, roll up. Heel toe the feet together and shake them out a little bit. Okay, so this was the little challenging pose that I was talking about. So we're just gonna try it. And don't worry if it's not something that you're able to do, but we're gonna try it. Okay. So you're standing at the front of your mat, feet are together. You're going to sink down into a chair pose, hands at the heart. Okay, let's warm up those thighs. Inhale, straight legs, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands at the heart, chair pose. You don't have to go down too far. Inhale up. Exhale, sitting down like you're about to touch the chair behind you. One more time, inhale up and exhale down. Okay, in your chair pose, modified, left hand outside of your right leg, reach your right hand either out to the side or on your right hip. You want to go a little deeper, hands at your heart center, left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Okay, so here's the challenge I was talking about. It's really hard, but it can be fun. You're going to look down at your right big toe. You're going to lift your left heel and see if you can start to lift your left foot and send it back. So you're in a twisted high lunge. If you can't, no worries. We're all going to come up to a high lunge just for a moment. Full breath in. And then lean forward, push off. Left foot next to right. Whew. Okay, that was hard, but that's okay. It's fun to try hard stuff, right? Because then when we go through hard stuff in life and we have no idea how to handle it, we handle it open, light, open-minded. Okay, Hands at the heart. Sink down into your chair pose. Turn to the left. Right hand can come to the outside of your knee and your left hand on your hip. Yep, there you go. I saw a couple people twist it up there. Or hands at your heart, right elbow outside of your left knee. You don't even have to add the craziness if you don't want to. We're going to look down at our left big toe. Lift your right heel. Bring the weight onto your left foot. See if you can play around with lifting that right foot. And then slowly send it back. It's going to land on the floor. You're still twisted. And then you're going to inhale, come up, high lunge, strong legs, hinge forward, push off your right foot to be near your left. Shake the legs out, catch your breath, and make your way down onto your back, onto your mat. That was fun. Hopefully you think it's fun too. I think in a gentle class, sometimes we get a little stuck between a gentle and a more advanced class. But we can get challenged in a gentle class. It's fun. Okay. Whew. Knees are bent. Feet are on the floor, mat width apart. Knees are going to touch. Palms are facing up. Arms on the floor, back to the hands on the floor. My heart is really beating fast and my breath has gotten short. So I'm just going to take a breath or two here to try to slow that down. I'm going to separate my knees and we're just going to windshield wiper the legs left to right. Doesn't have to coordinate with your breath. You can pause on one side if you'd like and really feel the knees reaching away, getting a stretch through the tops of the thighs, your low back, the side of the body. Just take this nice and slow and gentle. Let the eyes be closed. Just feel what you feel. And then we'll come back to center with the legs. Hug the knees into the chest one at a time. Knees are going to go wide. Feet are going to lift. Happy baby or modified, so holding on to the outsides of the feet if you can reach, or underneath the knees if you can't reach, or ankles if you can almost reach. Release any last bit of tightness or tension from the hips. Relax through the shoulders. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. Let's slowly bring the legs down and find Shavasana. So final relaxation pose. Feel free to use a prop, blankets, pillows, whatever you need so that you can rest comfortably with your back supported, head and neck supported. Eyes are closed. And just take a few quiet moments here to breathe, to feel and experience. just know there is nothing wrong with wanting something to happen in the future and waiting for it. There's nothing wrong with that. We are all wanting the pandemic to be over. But see if you can try to create a thought in your mind about what you can do with your time now that will help you feel confident, comforted, positive. Because I know for me, when I think about having to wait, I get impatient, frustrated, annoyed. I don't want to have those feelings. So maybe thinking about what we can do now that's productive, positive, maybe will bring you some joy or some joy to someone else. There's nothing like the gift of time and the present moment. You can ask anyone who doesn't have a lot of time left, and that's what they'll tell you. So we can manage our own minds around the times that we are in to create some feelings of comfort and joy, not the Christmas song, rather than anything negative. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Take a couple really deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and then out of your mouth like you're fogging a mirror. Slowly and gently, whenever you're ready, you can begin to move the body to transition out of Shavasana. And we'll meet seated with the eyes closed. Feel grounded down through your seat and your hips and your tailbone. Relax through the shoulders. Open around your heart. Open-minded. Maybe a little bit more clear-headed. Let's bring the right hand over your heart, the left hand over your right hand. And remember that we are all connected. Not only are we here with each other, but we are here for each other. Let's bring the palms together in front of your heart center to honor your practice and honor each other. Namaste.